family of Trump, the headquarters of Triumphant Outreach Ministries International. Tonight, we are going to have our last episode on manipulation. Over the weeks, this very month, we have spoken about manipulation. And tonight, we are coming to talk about the last aspect of manipulation. We started with the spiritual, physical, and tonight we are going to talk about the emotional manipulation, especially in relationships, and also how to intelligently handle it, where we are going to talk about the emotional intelligence. With me tonight to talk about this very topic, on my immediate left is Apostle Daniel. Apostle, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How has your week been?
Oh, it has been good by the grace of God.
Wow, we thank God. And also on my immediate is Apostle, our very own Apostle Samuel. Apostle, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How has it been?
Oh, by the grace of God, it's been good.
Wow. We thank God for this evening. As I said earlier, we are going to talk about manipulation, but tonight we are talking about emotional manipulation in relationships and also emotional intelligence. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to start with Apostle Samuel to talk to us about emotional manipulation and emotional intelligence. Apostle, talk to us.
All right, so for the past week, we've been talking about manipulation.
Right.
And we came to the point where we said manipulation has to do with unfair control or unjust control of one in order for your self-interest. All right. So, and even the fact that Jesus admonished his disciples in the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 4, that he should be careful of deceivers, people who are deceptive.
Right.
So at any point in time, there are people who deceive you in order to influence you negatively. We also came to the point where we said that everybody at any point in time has been influenced by somebody.
Right.
All right. So we've been influenced by somebody, whether positively or negatively. We all are influenced on daily basis or periodically, depending on where the influence is coming from. There are people who really exert some level of authority over our lives.
Right.
Our parents, our friends, our siblings, there are people who exert some authority by what they do, what they say, and where they are based on their position or where they find themselves.
Right.
Just as some of us also exert authority over some people. So in one way or the other, we all get influenced, whether positively or negatively.
Right.
But the situation where the influence becomes negative is when we refer to it as manipulation. Okay, so now you influence the person negatively for your own advantage. For your own advantage. Amen. So today we're talking about emotional manipulation and emotional integrity. Emotional manipulation, when you read the book of Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. Proverbs 16:32. Okay, so it says in the Amplified Version, it says, he who is slow to anger is better and more honorable than the mighty soldier. And he who rules and controls his own spirit.
Right.
He who rules and controls his own spirit than he who captures a city. So it means that there is a tendency that somebody can control your spirit.
Yeah.
Somebody can control your heart. In other versions, it says he who controls his own heart. So there's the possibility that somebody can control your heart.
Right.
It means that the person has a way of getting to your heart and getting you to do what he or she likes or wants.
Right.
Okay, so that is what we call emotional manipulation. So emotional manipulation, when you read Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30, the Message version, it says, a sound mind makes for a robust body, but a runaway emotions corrodes the bones.
Wow.
Okay, so I wrote something. I say emotional manipulation is behavior that intends to emotionally exploit or control somebody. Okay, to influence somebody. Any behavior that tends to control your mind, influence your mind in order to benefit the manipulator.
Right.
Okay, is what I call emotional manipulation. Okay, so an emotional manipulation may, however, be most often is difficult to identify. It may be hard to identify,
Right.
because the person coins it in such a way that you might think that he's doing it to your own advantage. All right. Meanwhile, it's to the person's advantage. So, in short, we should know that emotional manipulation has to do with the person controlling your mind in order to do what he or she wants you to do.
Wow. Apostle has made us understand that emotional manipulation is where someone intelligently or finds a way to exploit you, sometimes without your knowledge, because you may think the person is trying to rather help you, but for all you know, it is to the advantage of that individual. And I'm sure tonight, as we are going to talk further into it, you are going to be aware of some of these things so that you be careful with the people you associate with and what they tell you to do. Apostle, please talk to us.
To add to what my senior apostle have said, and what I want to say here is, I want to quote a scripture and lay my emphasis on that scripture based on what apostle has said.
Right.
Because we are talking about emotional manipulation and emotional
Intelligence.
So let's go to the book of John chapter 12 verse 1 downwards, and I will pick it from there. John chapter number 12.
John chapter 12
verse 1 downwards.
verse 1.
Downwards.
And I read.
Okay.
Then Jesus 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper,
Okay.
and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him.
Okay.
Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus,
Okay.
and wiped his feet with her hair.
Okay.
And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment.
Okay.
Then saith one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot,
Okay.
Simon's son, which should betray him, why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence,
Okay.
and which to give to the poor? This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief.
Because
He was a thief, and had the bag, and bare what was put therein. Then Jesus said, let her alone. Against the day of my burying has, as she kept this.
Amen.
Amen.
So when you were, I just want you to see yourself being around that day. And this woman took this expensive oil, came and poured it at the feet of Jesus, and began to rub it with her hair.
Right.
And Judas, looking at the situation, said, this thing this woman has wasted. We have a lot of poor people in this society. We could have sold this and used the money to help the poor. They would have said it emotionally. And somebody said, yes, of course. The woman had wasted the oil. But the Bible said that not because he cared for the poor,
Right.
but because he was a thief. So some people can use their emotions to exploit you. They will pretend as if they are in a difficult situation.
Right.
They will pretend as if they care so much, and you end up feeling pity for them. But the result will be like they will use their emotion to exploit you.
Right.
I don't know whether you are getting me.
Sure.
So Judas, not because he cared. So there are a lot of people, let me take the politicians, African politicians for instance. Most African politicians, they go to these villages, the less privileged, who have to give them the mandate.
Right.
And they pretend, some even eat with them, some of you carry their things to sell with them in the market just to get their attention.
Right.
They become very emotional with them. But not because they care for the people.
Right.
But they want to use their emotions to what? Manipulate them.
Right.
To get what they are looking for.
Right.
So emotional manipulation is very dangerous and highly dangerous. Because the person is working under pretense.
Right.
So if you don't have emotional intelligence, you cannot detect that this person is using emotion to manipulate me.
Right.
Because some people will come to you and cry and cry and cry and cry. Not that they are crying from their heart, but they are just pretending to do that which they are doing.
Right.
Recently, I was watching one of the Ghana television TV station, and a woman was interviewed, and this woman said her job is to cry at funerals. They employ her to cry at funerals.
Right.
I'm saying, like, really, seriously? And she could demonstrate it, and tears were flowing. So you going to funeral to meet such a person, shouting, "Oh, my mother, oh, me mommy, oh, my father," and you may feel like, "Oh, this lady has lost the mother.
Right.
This lady has lost the father." But at the end of the day, she's working and expecting a pay, but under emotion. So that is what I have to say for now.
Wow. Apostle Daniel has made us understand a few things that people can also exploit you with their emotions, making you find pity, find with their situation very pitiful, and then they use that to exploit you. And then he made us understand that you would have to have some level of emotional intelligence in order to detect this very tool. Now, Apostle, I want you to talk to us. As we've made our viewers understand that we are going to narrow it into relationship and all that. When we've come to a point where people, when they are in a relationship, it looks like they are in the relationship because of A and B. And whenever that happens, and that thing which be the reason as to why they are into the relationship is no more, they tend not to care, not to find love for the person they initially told that, "Hey, I love you," and this and that. What are some of the reasons these things happen to people?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, when we talk about emotional manipulation, is something that is it's very, very serious and needs to be dealt with.
Right.
You know, a lot of people have been trapped in this, and you know, when you are manipulated emotionally, it's very difficult to come out. It's very, very difficult.
Right.
Because the manipulator positions himself, most often him or herself, as your utmost help or helper. He can gear it in such a way that you would think your livelihood is dependent on him or her. No matter what he or she has or what you have,
Right.
it can be that you are the one taking care of him or her. But they can do it in such a way that it looks as if your life depends on them. That is how manipulators are, most
Right.
especially those who do it emotionally. Number one, when someone manipulates you emotionally, what they do is number one, they can get so close to you and get you to become so much interested in them.
Damn.
Especially when we talk about the relationship aspect, like relationship as in male-female relationship.
Right.
Okay, they can get you to become so much interested in them, but for a purpose.
Right.
That is why, as you are saying, someone enters into a relationship, and then the purpose for which they enter into a relationship, after a while, if it is no more, then they are not interested in the relationship.
Right.
So it can be because of money, It can be because of sex. It can be because of different reasons for which they enter into the relationship. So the moment, most often, especially some guys, if it is because of sex, after some sessions of sexual relations with you, then they are no more interested because they think they've gotten what they need. If it has to do with money, whether male or female, they also come in, they get what they want. When they get somebody who can give them better, then they just move on. Okay, I believe that, and this is one thing that is really prevailing as far as relationship in this age is concerned. Yeah, it is really, really prevailing. It's really moving on. So you see a lady, a guy is interested in the lady, and the lady will want to assess you to find out how much you have and how well you can take care of her before she accepts you. And so you see that even most of these people will accept the proposal based on conditions, and because you are also interested, you just accept the conditions and you flow with it. Okay, so I think this is not the right way to enter into a relationship.
Right.
And in some few occasions, these relationships have ended up in marriage, and most of them crash within a short period of time.
Right.
You can't enter into a relationship abusing somebody emotionally. All right. Emotional manipulation is just like emotional abuse. Abusing the person emotionally and expect that it will work out. No. So it's very important. But you know, the people of this age, the youth of this age especially, it's difficult to get their minds off these things because they have their objective, they have their interest. But it's very important for us to know that if you enter into a relationship with somebody by playing on their emotions and taking advantage of their emotions and enter into the relationship with them, it will not take you far.
Wow. If you play the emotions of people and enter into a relationship with them, it will not go far. Indeed, truly, Apostle has made us understand a few things, that when it comes to relationship, you can't use manipulations because it won't last. You can't continually use emotional manipulation to make someone stay. It will not last. Apostle Daniel, please talk to us when it comes to manipulating people into a relationship, whether business, whether what have you, and leading them astray or leaving them in the middle of the way.
Yes. This, as Apostle has said, this relationship manipulation is something that is ongoing.
Right.
And as I'm speaking to you, people are dying slowly in it. Only that they are not having anybody to talk to.
Right.
These manipulators also, one thing that they do is that Apostle said something, that they get into you so much that they make you understand that you can't talk to anybody apart from them.
Right.
So what they do is that they now put you in a cage where you cannot come out.
Right.
And you feel safe. But in that cage, they are manipulating you.
Right.
So that means that they determine your movement. They determine who should call you.
Right.
They determine who you should have affiliation with.
Right.
So if someone wants to manipulate you into a relationship, one, this is what they do. They study and understand your weakness. And they know what you exactly want.
Right.
Then they pretend to have that thing. And begin to offer you that thing.
Right.
Because that is what you want. So because the person is interested in you, so you bring that thing to you.
Right.
Just to manipulate you. Especially, let me say this one without any fear. It's like those ladies who has money or who have wealth. Most of the time, they end up in wrong relationship.
Right.
Because most people that want to enter, some of them, they are not into it.
Right.
They just want something from the lady.
Right.
And the vice versa. There are some ladies too who are into certain guys. They are not in the relationship. They are in because of the substance of the guy. So they will use what the guy wants and manipulate the guy to get what they want.
Right.
Now, when you look at these side chicks and these side girls and slave queens and co, one thing I've studied about them is that the way they speak, that one can even make you fall in love. But are they really in love?
Right.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Sure.
The way they will talk, how can somebody be married and still find it so comfortable speaking with another lady? The reason is that the other lady is manipulating. The other lady is aware that this man is married.
Right.
But what can I use to end? Because marriage is a bond. So for someone to be able to enter into that bond, the person must be able to be a manipulator.
Right.
So what is he going to? Because the lady coming in might not be having anything, but seeing this married man who is driving, who has his own company, who has his own things, wanted something for herself. So this is what he's going to do. The way she will speak to you, even if you are wrong, she will end up saying, "Oh, sir, I'm sorry." Some will say, "Because of the sake of our friendship, I want to apologize for what happened yesterday." And they will be under that pretense, and they will enter your life. And after they finish with you, then you will know that they were not the real person you were speaking to. So this emotional manipulation has led a lot of people to even sin against God.
Right.
Because the person coming is going to live under a very serious pretense.
Right.
Because the person knows that he wants something from you. You continue to be down. So be careful with certain level of humilities. Because not all humilities are real.
Right.
But some of them, they are pretense.
Right.
In Akan language, we say, Kramaya Brasia. The humility of a dog. You see a dog today being humble, tomorrow the same dog is barking at you. You give that dog food yesterday. Tomorrow when you don't give him food, he will bark at you.
Right.
So some people, because of what they are getting from you, they can lie on the ground for you to step on you, for you to step on them. But immediately they get that which they are looking for, you now see their true characters.
Right.
That is why a lot of ladies nowadays, they are so frustrated. Somebody has made them born one, born two, and they don't know what to do. The reason is that someone pretended to love them, but it was under manipulation.
Right.
Thank you.
But this is getting very interesting. It is the WORDNESS Wednesday, emotional manipulation and emotional intelligence. You know, great apostles, you know, these things that you guys are saying is very true. You know, there is a story that I know of a friend where she met this guy, and then this guy, you know, the guy was so good. When I say good, I mean like the guy was so good to her. So one time she came to me, we were talking, and then she was like, "This guy that I've met, I wish I met him earlier." And I was like, why are you saying that you wish? He said, anytime there is an issue, the way he handles it, even when I am wrong, he makes me feel that it's all right. So I told her that, for how long has he done this thing? He said, ever since they started dating, for the past 3 months, it's been like that. And I was like, you see, let me tell you something. You can't judge that he's so good to you. You just have to have enough time and observe him quite further. And let's see how things are going to be like. And it was like, oh no, this one, I am certain is the person I want to marry. Hey, so I was there, and then about 2 weeks later, I got a wedding invitation card from her. And then she settled down with this guy. And when they married, about 6 months down the line, one day I was there, then she called me. When she called me, you could see that she has cried. So you could feel it in her voice. And I asked her, what is it? And it was like, everything he told me was a lie. And I was like, I didn't hear what you are saying, Who told you what and what is a lie? I was like, my husband, what he told me, everything he told me was a lie. I was like, wow. So what have you really observed? And she was like, he told me he's building up his own company. He resigned from his work and he's setting up his own business and all that. It was a lie. He has never even worked before. He has never been employed before and all that. He wakes up in the morning and he lies in the couch from morning to evening. She goes and comes and all that. And I was like, so what are you doing about it? And she was like, if she had known, not that she's going to take a decision that because it's not working, so I'm not going to be with you, but maybe perhaps they could have helped or made him get something to do. So it looks like he had pretended and then gotten her in his life. And then when she realized this, she wanted to go out of the relationship. And she said every aspect of her life or every door in her marriage that she can use to exist, the guy has blocked it. I was like, how? And she was telling me that she feels the guy is oppressed. She used a particular word. She said, like, or someone and someone to say, I'm going to make it, and if you leave my life, you will regret it. And that. So it looks like when sometimes when she's there, she's like, what if I leave and then he makes it? What is going to happen? So I told her that, you see, you are in a serious bondage. And where you are, I want to ask you a few questions. It is going to help you to decipher where you are. And I asked her, 2 months from now, where is the marriage going? 1 year from now, where do you see him going? Do you see a future he has? Talk more of a future you are in. Does he have any future for himself? Is there any future plan for himself in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years? And she was like, there's nothing. Whenever they talk about something, it looks like he's not interested. And I told her that I'm not the one to convince you to take a decision. You have to go and meet people that you feel the guy listens to and talk to them. So, Apostle, in such situations where people find themselves that they are unable to come out of a relationship because they entered into the relationship under false pretense, under lies, what should the person do?
Okay, thank you very much. Depending on where you are coming from, I believe that this teaching is not just for those who are spiritually mature. There are a lot of people who are not really mature spiritually.
Right.
And before you enter into something like marriage is a forever affair.
Right.
Marriage is a forever relationship. Till death do you part.
Exactly.
All right. And so before you enter into such a thing, you have to make sure that you have adequate knowledge or information about who you are settling with,
right,
the marriage itself, the family, whatever that makes marriage,
right,
you must be abreast with certain.
Right.
That is why we always advise that study about marriage. Even if you are not married yet, study about marriage. When I counsel people, the first thing before people get married, when I'm counseling couples that are going to get married, the first thing I ask you, how many books have you read about marriage? What do you know about marriage? What is your preparation towards this marriage?
Right.
And then secondly, what do you know about, if you are a woman, what do you know about men in general? And what do you know about this man?
Right.
Listen, these are things marriage is something that can kill you within a short period of time.
Right.
Marriage is something that can bring you the joy of your lifetime.
Right.
It can destroy you, it can make you.
Right.
Many people have gotten married and it has become a blessing to them. Some people have also gotten married and it has become a serious curse to them,
Right.
of which they wish they never got married.
Right.
People have gotten married and they've died because of their marriage. So before you enter into something that is this much serious, you must take your time, work hard to get adequate information, be adequately prepared,
Right.
and ensure that your partner or your supposed husband or wife is also adequately prepared for it.
Right. Right.
Listen, manipulators are very cunning. They will always find their way into your heart to the point that it becomes difficult for you to get out of their lives.
Right.
And so even at a point in time, they can even pretend withdrawing from you. When they are withdrawing from you, you will chase them. That is how they are. They make it in such a way that, like he's saying, he's saying everything possible to belittle her.
Right.
To make her feel that if you leave me, you will regret it for the rest of your life.
Right.
So he's making it look as if you will be at the losing end. You will need me.
Right.
Okay. That is how this is purely manipulation. Purely manipulation. Under normal circumstances, a wise husband, even if you don't have anything doing, you are not working and maybe you are looking for a job and you are not getting a job and all these things, you will speak sense to your wife.
Right.
You will sit your wife down. Let your wife know your future plans. Let her know what you are doing.
Right.
Let her know what you intend to achieve. Work together to achieve that.
Right.
Okay. So in such a situation, in fact, marriage is one thing that you don't easily exit. You don't easily exit. You are not like the people of the world. Yes, the people of the world have, I met there's a young lady in her, I think she's now approaching 30 years, or she'll be 30 or 31.
Right.
And she has divorced. She divorced and then she has divorced. And she came around and we were talking and she was sharing her situation. The husband is around 33 years. And this is his fourth divorce.
Right.
Yeah. Around 32, 33 years.
Four.
This is his fourth divorce. Like, it's a normal routine for them. If it's not working, oh, go your way, let me go my way. If it's not working, go your way. And let me tell you, if you are somebody who is like that, you will never have the best of marriage. You can't enjoy marriage.
Right.
And so this is the challenge. You don't just get into marriage and leave. But this is where she has ended up. The advice I can give her is that, one, she herself needs to work on herself.
Right.
Secondly, she's talking to the husband. The husband is not minding her. As you said, she should get someone or some people that she knows the husband listens to.
Right.
And take the issue to them and let them take it up. Either their pastor, their husband's parents, or their counselor. The counselors can also come in at this point in time. She can talk to the counselors,
right.
And then they should all come in and see what to do about it, because this one, if it should continue like this, in fact, she can die prematurely.
She can die prematurely. I'm saying it on a low tone because marriage can kill you. Marriage, when you are not really prepared, you are not really equipped intelligently, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, it can kill you. Because it is like Apostle said, it is an endless road until death do you part. And even that, when you die, until they take you from the mortuary and then some rites are performed, still the marriage is still there. So it is not an easy route. Apostle, there are people that when they are entering into relationship, they enter into the relationship because they want a companion, they want someone to talk to, someone to play with, and sometimes they don't even have marriage in mind. They just, because they feel they are alone, so they need to be into this relationship with that person. I was telling a friend that dating is not about going to drink or going to do any unnecessary thing, but dating is like a business interview where you are going to be employed. So you come to be employed. And so when you go on a date, ask questions, interview the person. But people don't really ask questions. They just get enthused and then also so excited, overly excited about this person or that. So they don't ask vital questions. And they enter into relationships, and then sometimes they date for about 7 years, 8 years, and they don't even know whether they are going to settle down. Because you ask this person, and that person will say, I'm not ready yet. You ask the other person, will say, well, I want to get some money and all that. What should people do, or how prepared should people be before they start even dating?
Okay. What I would say is that what you are not prepared for, don't enter.
Don't enter.
Or don't undertake it. It's just like you are not prepared to start building. You don't have any source of income that will continue the building.
Right.
And suddenly you start the project. Even the Bible advises that you should plan. You should have a plan in place before even starting such a thing.
Right.
So what I would advise is that before you enter into a relationship, you must first be prepared for it.
Right.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially.
Right.
Now, I meet young girls, someone who is in SHS, and she I'm in a relationship. I said, for what? When you come to me, I'll tell you, for what? What are you doing in that relationship?
Right.
Your father and your mother has sent you to school, and you find a guy that maybe look nice, telling you that I like you, I love you, and then suddenly, boom, you are in a relationship. That is unprepared relationship.
Right.
It will end up in tears, or it will end up in teenage pregnancy,
right,
or it will end up you being a very person terminating your own destiny. So many great destiny has been terminated because of unprepared relationships. They follow their emotion. This guy is so nice, so handsome, he's so caring. Oh, look at him, very tall. He likes playing basketball. You know, those things are carrying you into. If those are your credentials to carry. Hey, the guy know how to talk. He know how to speak English. Look at his lips. Oh my God, I like him. And those are your credentials carrying you to a relationship. Then I'm afraid it's going to end you in tears. And those relationships is like just picking a fish, putting that fish in a pot that contains water, very cold water, and the fish, it's another environment that I'm enjoying. And you put that pot on fire, and the fish will be inside.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So as the water is getting warm, the fish says, oh, the water is warm. Okay, to get cold. Before that fish realizes, the water has started boiling. And that is what happened to a lot of people.
Right.
You think that you are in a cold situation, but you are on fire.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. The water will boil, and your life will end. So when you want to enter into a relationship, please prepare.
Right.
Be prepared.
Right.
And the most part is that make sure that you are mature for that relationship. Many people are in immature relationship.
Right.
It's immature. You could see that you don't know anything. You don't know how to cook. You don't know how to do anything. Even your room, you can't even arrange it.
Right.
And you are entering into a relationship that will lead to marriage. Forget it. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying.
I get you.
Because even you cannot take care of your personal room, you cannot marry. Because you see, this young generation, we the young generation, we are thinking that. First, I used to think this, that when I'm married, I will not wash again. I won't do certain things again. I was thinking that when I'm married, now I'm a freedom. I'll just wake up, bath, do my work as a man and just sleep. But it is not like that. We are all married men sitting here. We know that marriage is a work.
Right.
So if you are not prepared to work, don't enter into relationship that will lead to marriage. That is why many people are in need and they think that they are being oppressed, they are being suppressed. No, marriage is a work. Because children will come in, homework will come home, and the one who will be disturbing. The one who will pour water on the floor, will pour water on the floor. A whole lot of things go into it.
Right.
So when you are not prepared, don't enter into relationship.
Right.
And as you are watching me, you are listening to us. If you are in immature relationship, I am urging you to break up. End it now.
End it.
Because it will not help you.
Right.
It will rather destroy you. And the last thing I want to say before you continue is that this kind of relationship will lead you to danger. Because when you are in immature relationship and the guy is manipulating you, when you get pregnant, he'll find a way to let you abort it.
Right.
And some listening to us, watching us, has aborted pregnancy more than 8 times, 10 times. Maybe you end up aborting all your children because of this immature relationship.
Right.
You are not ready for it. Don't enter.
Right.
Thank you.
You are not ready for it. Don't enter. It's as simple as that. Simple crap. It's as simple as that. It's interesting because a lot of people don't build their personal capacity. They don't place some level of value on themselves. So they enter into relationships and then they end up being manipulated. They are unable to come out. There are some people that listen that, hey, I want you to stop working. I want you to stop that. And then when they listen, at a point, the help that was coming from their partner is not coming anymore. And then now they find themselves stuck. Sometimes you need to build your capacity. If it is school, you want to go to school. If it is business, you want to start a business. Build your capacity. Be financially firm, whether you are a woman or you are a man, before you enter into any relationship, so you don't find yourself being manipulated by anyone. Don't give chances. Be responsible for your own self and your own decisions. Apostle, let's talk about this emotional intelligence. How would one be able to handle such situations when they pop up in their life, when you are being emotionally, whether being blackmailed emotionally, whether you are being emotionally abused or emotionally manipulated?
Okay, thank you very much. So, talking about the emotional intelligence simply has to do with your ability to understand yourself, understand your emotions, understand other people, how other people relate to you, and be able to use that information you have to your own advantage.
Right.
So that you reduce the rate at which, even if not to completely eliminate, reduce the rate at which people emotionally abuse you, all right, or mentally corrupt you or abuse you, all right.
Right.
And in order to do this, it's very important, as I said, there's one thing that is very important: self-awareness. Self-awareness. Know yourself. One thing that manipulators do, or these emotional abusers do, is one, they belittle you.
Right.
They make you feel as if you are not so important. They are important, and you need to depend on them. And you can't do without them. So
Right.
they belittle you, they look down on you, they make you confused, they implant some fear in you, like the lady you are talking about with
Right.
the husband. Now, she's confused. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know the way forward. She's not seeing what to do. 2, she's afraid.
Right.
What if I leave and then the man becomes prosperous or successful or something? She's afraid. And then she's now she will become weak. She can't make decisions for herself. That's one thing that happened. And so what you need to control this manipulation, emotional manipulation, is one, self-awareness.
Right.
Self-awareness. You need to know yourself. Know what you can do. Know your abilities. Very, very important. Know your weaknesses. All right. Know your abilities, know your weaknesses, know what you can do, what you cannot do. It's very important. And know how you easily respond emotionally.
Right.
When situations come or situations pop up. There are people that you see them aggressive, moving up and down, doing this, doing that. But when anything comes, it can break them down easily.
Right.
Tears can flow down easily. There are people too that look very cool, but they are very hard. They
Right.
handle emotions. So you should, one, identify yourself. Very, very important. Self-awareness. Number two, after you have identified yourself, know how to manage yourself. That is self-management. Very, very important. Be able to deal with whatever that comes to you. You know that I am weak when it comes to this thing. Build on it. How best can you control that thing?
Right.
All right. Self-management is very important. And then what I would also talk about, let's say, social awareness and social management. Like other people that come into your life, the community, the school in which you are, the church, the people around you, you should know how they are. Be able to study them, know how they work, how they talk, how they do their things. And then when you know, you'll be able to know how to deal with them. So I know these people around me are very deceptive. When you know that they are very deceptive, it informs you. So you are pre-informed about their nature, what they do, how they do their things. And so when they are dealing with you or you are dealing with them, you know how they are already. So they can't easily control your emotions.
Right.
They can't easily control your mind. They can't. That's what the Bible says, as Jesus said in Matthew 24 verse 4. He said, beware of the deceivers. Beware of those who deceive. So you are aware of the people. You know how they behave.
Right.
Some people will tell you that Ewe men are like this, Ghana men are like this, Account women are like this, Kumasi guys are guy, and all these things. They will talk about this. So know the terrain, know the people. At least, even if you can't know anything, steady, know them, so that when they come into your life, you know how they do their things and what they would want to do. All right?
Right.
It will help you control this emotional abuse. And again, relationship management. No matter what the relationship, whether it's a love affair, like it's male-female love affair, friendship, siblings, parents, be able to handle these relationships very well.
Right.
And make sure that whatever impact it's having on you is not destroying you.
Right.
And you also have to be able to communicate your intentions clearly to the people around you.
Right.
So that they know you, they know what you want, what you don't want, so that when they are coming to you with anything that you will not want, they know that this person will not accept this.
Right.
All right. So these are a few things that I believe when we do, it will go a long way to help us control these emotional abuse.
Wow. Apostle has given us some points and some interesting points for us to be able to control emotional manipulators. Apostle Daniel,
Yes.
please talk to us about some of the ways we can be able to control or curtail emotional manipulations.
Just to add up to what Apostle has said.
Right.
When you look at the life of Jesus, Jesus was a man on earth at the same time God on earth.
Right.
But he was able to detect the thinking abilities of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So anytime he says something, he doesn't even wait for them to tell him what is in their mind. He tells them what is in their mind.
Right.
So one of the things that you can use to stop these manipulations is to have a discernment spirit. You should have, I will urge everyone to yearn for that. That you should be able to discern the thought of man and the heart of man.
Right.
You can only do that if you are getting closer to God.
Right.
You can only get that kind of gift if you are very close to God. He will give you that ability. That ability, David had it. So when Joab went to fetch a woman, a wise woman from Tokia, put words into the mouth of the woman to come and speak to the king and let the woman dress as if the husband has died, all under pretense to manipulate the king. David was able to detect that this is not real.
Right.
This is a manipulation. And he was able to say, tell me if the hand of Joab is not in this. It means that David knows all his mighty men. He knows the people around them, around him, and he know how they think and what they do. So I will urge that you should know, as Apostle said, the people around you. What are they looking for? Why are they around you? There's some people who are around us. They are not around us because they want to help us. They are not around us for good. They are around us for evil. Look at Judas Iscariot. He was part of the disciple, but his mission was different from other disciples. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying. So, no, people that are around you can also help you to stop them from what? Manipulating you. Because me, for instance, like this, all the guys around me, I know everyone individually. And I speak to them based on each one's level of understanding. So what I will tell A is not what I'll tell B. The way maybe I will rebuke A, maybe that's not the same way I'll rebuke B. Because their level of maturities are not the same. And what their mindsets are different. And they are all around you. So you should know the people that who have circled you and the people that you found yourself in. So when you realize that the people you are in, they are like this, then you need to develop a strategy so that they don't end up manipulating you. And I want to urge parents also not to overreact to their children, so that it will push them to the manipulators. But most of these kids, young girls, especially young girls, they cannot go to their parent to tell them what they are feeling. So ability to communicate to the right person. An example, like in a church, a guy walked to you and said, I want you in a relationship. Ability to walk to your pastor and say, Pastor, this young man in the church said he wants me. That can stop it. So ability to make your relationship open can stop people from manipulating you. That is my way of stopping these manipulators. If someone is coming to you and telling you, oh, this thing has to be secret, and I don't want this particular person to know right now, it should be between us for now, let's pray for the meantime. The same person will come and tell you, after he has finished with what he wants to get from you, will tell you, God said you are not the right person. You get that?
Sure.
So make your relationship open, especially to your leaders and your authorities and your parents. There should not be any circumstances a young lady, a guy who have parent who is under a parental guidance or a parental control, to have a relationship that is not known to the parent. Your parent must be aware of it, so that they can give you an advice. That is why it is more advised that if a guy said he will marry you, send the guy home first, for your parent to observe that particular person, because they are old, they have experience, they can see that this one is marriageable material. Some do it positively and some also do it negatively. But I think the positive ones override the negative. So let's try as much as possible to make our relationships, especially the ones who are telling us they want to marry us, let us make it open, and let us make the right people aware of it. Are you getting what I'm talking about? And lastly, what I'll say is that most people make this mistake. They end up telling their friends about their relationship. This guy said he will marry me, and their parents are not aware, their pastors are not aware. I don't know. And if anyone should say in this church, I love you, the first person you should contact is the pastor or the resident pastor or the head pastor of the church. But the pastor knows the person better than you. So these are the measures. When you put these measures in place, the manipulators will be. If someone is coming into your life and he knew that you by all means involve the pastor. Somebody called me yesterday, said there's a young guy who is blah blah blah, is interested in her. And I said okay, and now he's trying to withdraw a little bit to see if the guy will continue to push, and you see that the guy also withdraws. I said okay, call the guy, tell him that this relationship, you want your resident pastor to be aware of it, and hear his response and come back to me, and I'll give you advice. As soon as the guy said let's wait for a while, it means that this guy is not interested in this relationship.
Right.
But if you are interested, nothing prevents you from showing your face. Thank you.
If you're interested, nothing prevents you from showing your face. Indeed, Apostle has given us a lot of insights. He's made us understand that we need to yearn for discernment spirit. We need to yearn for discernment spirit so that we can be able to discern the people around us, the things they tell us, and how we have to deal with them. One thing also is that when it comes to emotional manipulators, anytime you realize someone is manipulating you, number one, try to forgive yourself. Sometimes you will be so angry that you ask yourself, why were you not able to, why did you allow yourself, and you begin to regret and all that. Number one, try as much as possible to forgive yourself and learn to say a diplomatic no, because manipulators always have something they want you to do for them. And when you come to realize that they are manipulating you and you forgive yourself, learn to say no when they come to you. The moment you tell them no, their next reaction is to get angry, because you are ending a terrain, you are ending a route, and that is not going to sit up well with them. They will try to come back again with a strategy, but try to ask them questions that will push them back. Like, does this make sense at all? Is this thing reasonable? What do you think about this? Ask them some questions that will make them bring out their thoughts. And that is going to make you understand what they are trying to do. And when you realize that this thing they are trying to do is to manipulate you, confront them. Just like a bully. Anyone that bullies, the day you confront the person is unable to come back again. It has been a WORDNESS Wednesday, another lovely Wednesday. Until we come your way next week, I've been your servant host, Pastor Nick. Shalom. Peace.